The importance of having best flood insurance in Houston, Texas. The risks posed by floods are many and include destruction of property, personal injury and even death. The first thing you need to know about best flood insurance in Houston, Texas is that it is not covered in the basic homeowner's insurance. Necessity of flood insurance is determined by the geographical zones your property is in. Although everyone lives in a flood risk zone, or the Federal Emergency Management Agency, has specific information on the risks associated with various areas and therefore whether there is need for flood insurance to cover flood damage. For those obtaining flood damage insurance, there is a 30-day waiting period from date of purchase before an insurance policy becomes effective. Best flood insurance in Houston, Texas is provided by the National Flood Insurance Program through some 85 insurance companies. Even with classification of risk zones, homeowners need to be aware that they do not have to live in high-risk zones to get flooded. About a quarter of all flood insurance claims come from low-risk areas as a result of storms, melting snow or even dam failure. Flood insurance is also attractive because claims are normally paid even when a federal disaster is not declared. Perhaps the real reason why one should obtain flood insurance is the fact that the cost of repaying a disaster loan is 12 times as expensive as paying the annual flood insurance. And such loans are only available when a disaster is declared by the federal authorities, which does not always happen. This is especially important that the basic homeowner's insurance does not cover flood damage. Check out importance of having best flood insurance in Houston, Texas. It is a commonly made mistake to assume that you do not need flood insurance because you already have a home insurance policy. The problem is that payments for damage caused by a flood are typically excluded from a home insurance policy. Therefore, without specifically taking out a flood insurance policy, you will be left seriously out of pocket in the event of a flood occurring. Considering that the flooding in your area is declared to be a disaster, the assistance given is normally in the form of loans that you need to repay with interest. Taking all this into consideration, federal assistance might be a risky option to consider if your area is susceptible to flooding. The best way to protect your assets and the home that you worked so hard to build is by purchasing flood insurance. Contact Houston National Insurance of America at 713-266-6363, who can get you the cheapest flood insurance.